Ladies and gentlemen, can you please put your hands together for Mr. and Mrs. Pennington? Please be seated.
This may be tricky, so I'm going to do what I can. Oh yeah, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be doing our wedding breakfast with bridal speeches. Today we're going to hear from the father of the bride, the best man, the groom and the best man. Can you please put your hands together for the father of the bride?
I've started. You start. He hasn't started talking yet.
Thought I was going to shout. Eyes down for your first... Oh, sorry. Stop,
Give it to Rich behind you, mate.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome and thank you for coming to celebrate Wendy and Mark's big day. A special thank you to those... Oh, it's terrible writing this. Who wrote this? Oh, it's me. A special thank you to those of you who have travelled a long way to be here, including illegal immigrants we have for the weekend from across the channel. Welcome and thank you, Annabelle. Bienvenue et merci. Bienvenido y gracias. Can't remember how many languages you speak. What's that one? Anyway. I'm also very pleased that Mark could make it to Wendy's wedding. You'll have to excuse me. I remember some advice to amateur public speaking, possibly from Bob Monkhouse. Those of you old enough to remember him, might have been him, but don't quote me on that. When he said, just imagine your audience without any clothes on. Very funny. You'll be pleased to hear I won't keep you long. I won't keep you long for three main reasons. Firstly, we don't want the scouts going cold. Secondly, it might be embarrassing if we start to hear Nicola's tummy rumbling. And finally, because my first wife says I'm a man of few words anyway. We're here to celebrate the marriage of my lovely daughter Wendy to the equally handsome Mark. Are you liking it so far, James? Right, I'll carry on then. I'd like to thank everyone who has made this day possible, including the financial contributors, namely Mark's parents, Joy and Phil, my first wife Pauline, and her good friend Isa, and last but not least, Wendy and Mark themselves. My first wife has asked me to point out that neither Wendy nor our adopted son Paul, I meant to have a word with you about that, sorry, that they've never asked us for a penny. I agree. A few grand now and then, but never a penny. Oh, Paul, while you're on that You're on the Scrabble table, aren't you? Yeah. If you have a word with your cousins, they're both chefs, they might tell you how to make a proper tea. Got that. I'm not supposed to share with you an amusing story about Wendy in her early years. Don't worry, Wendy. Now, this day had happened 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. My memory may have stretched that far back. However, that is no longer the case, as my first wife, Audrey, will testify. The happy couple, Jennifer and Roger, also has them getting over this days. My memory is so poor nowadays, I could arrange my own surprise party. Instead, I can recall a more recent conversation when Wendy and Mark were discussing their special day. Wendy was concerned the group photographs may look a bit strange, with there being only one bridesmaid. Mark said, "Okay, we'll get rid of her." Thankfully, common sense prevailed and the lovely Nicola survived the couple. There was also a more recent conversation. Sorry, Phil. When Wendy was explaining the itinerary for today at our house, and one of the things she first mentioned was the makeup girl will be here about 8 o'clock. And Phil said, "Will that be long enough?" I'm now obliged to welcome Mark to the family, but I'm afraid that boat sailed some time ago. Now, if this has happened, say, 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, that would have been a different scenario. However, it's useful having a competent toilet seat fitter in the family. Finally, it's my privilege and great pleasure to ask you all to raise your glasses and toast the bride and groom, Wendy and Mark.
Qualified to use that? No, Alec. Take over a bit. Give it to Rose.
Don't worry.
Deal.
I'll talk quick. Have you got a bet going on? Who's winning?
Not me.
Oh, right, okay. Right. I do talk really quickly when I do speeches, so I'll try and keep it at a good pace. But I'd like to. It's already started. That's my last opportunity to talk. So. Right. Firstly, I'd like to thank John for his kind words. I'd also like to thank his first wife, Pauline, apparently. For everything you've been done. Anyway, no, firstly, I'd also like to thank everyone for coming. We know a lot of you have actually travelled a long way, and especially yesterday, we know there was quite a bit of traffic, wasn't there? And there's some people travelling for a long, long time. So we really appreciate it, and we also really appreciate all the gifts and donations that you've made on our behalf as well. That's really kind, so I wanted to thank you on behalf of myself and my wife. Right, for those who sort of know me quite well, public speaking is not really a core competency I sort of possess. And you would have thought with the job that I do, I sort of stand up and speak in front of large groups of people, but I've got a business partner, Dan, who I normally delegate to that sort of task. I did ask him to actually fill in today, but he said it might not have the same gravitas. So unfortunately, you've got to put up with my Cornish, Devon tones. Sorry. Now, as I am from the IT background, I do want to embrace my IT roots. So what I'm doing is I will actually be supporting this speech with a small PowerPoint presentation. So this is my speech here. So in true PowerPoint presentation styling, we do have an agenda. So first on the agenda, I'm going to thank John for his kind words, so we've done that. We're going to have a brief introduction to this speech, so we're partway through that at the moment, so we'll be completing that shortly. I will be talking about the Phillips and Pennington family, then maid of honour, groomsmen and other very important people. Talk about my wife, that'll be broken down to 2 key areas, which will be our time together and what she means to me. And finally, talk about and potentially thank the best man, and that potential is based upon what he actually says. But I can assure you, I've got a lot more than him than he has on me. You can vouch for that, can't you, Chris? Yeah, behave. Right, we'll move on. Right, we'll talk about the Phillips and Pennington family. So firstly, I would like to thank, again, John and his first wife, Pauline, for making me very welcome to the Phillips family. From the first day that I've met them, they've really embraced me as part of one of their own. And I'd also like to thank the extended Phillips family. Again, you are a lovely lot. You're very kind and generous, and again including me as part of that, so it's really appreciated. And being part of a lovely lot, you are actually quite a sociable lot, aren't you?
We are.
You do like a good party, don't you, Pauline? We do like a party, we do like a few lemonades, don't we? So I'm quite surprised they haven't actually disowned me, because well, you're jumping ahead, Pauline, just, yeah. Parties, especially at Pauline and John's house, they do go on to small hours, don't they? And I do struggle past about 10 o'clock. But we have got this nice symbiosis sort of relationship going, so they accept that I fall asleep in a chair in the corner and they just carry on having a party around me, so that's okay, isn't it? So I'd also like to finally thank you for raising such a kind, caring and beautiful daughter. It doesn't take long even comfort to know where she got it from. So I'd like to thank you for that. Right, we'll move on. While we are talking about fantastic children, I would actually like to thank my parents for raising such a handsome, charming and modest son. You can't see it? You have done very well. I'm not quite sure what happened to the other 2 though. So hashtag joking, hashtag what? I'll go back. No, I'll keep them up there. It's a good picture. I feel very lucky to have the upbringing I've had, growing up on the farm in the sticks of Devon. It's because I'm going to do another term later on. So anyway, you are both two of the most dedicated and hard-working people I know. And I know when we were quite young, I know there wasn't huge amounts of money about, but there was always plenty of food on the table, wasn't there? Because whenever I asked for seconds, Dad always came back and said, "No, you've had plenty, didn't you?" So that's fine. So we did that well. I feel especially lucky with the holidays we went on, and I remember them to this day, and I very much enjoy them. And I even include the camping trips to Europe. I did enjoy them. Anyway, so I did. It was great. Alright, I'll move on. Right, so I would actually like to move on. So you may all be aware, and you may have seen our invites, that we actually, myself and Wendy, refer to ourselves as the Penphils. And that's not difficult to figure out, because we just basically take the first bits of both our names and join them together. And that's what we've done today. We've joined our 2 families together. And I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all 4 parents for everything they've done. They've done a lot behind the scenes, not just in the last sort of 9 months since we've been playing this and contributing, but also supporting us over the last sort of nearly 12 years. Yeah, cool. That's good. So I'd like to take this opportunity to raise a glass to the Penphil parents, if possible. So,
I can't raise mine.
Penphil parents. Right. we'll move on to the next section. So we've got the maid of honour, groomsmen, and other very, very important people. There we go. That's all right. Do you know what? I did find quite a few different pictures, but I thought I'd go nice for yourself. The rest, you got no chance. No, I'd like to say a few words about our maid of honour, Nikki. I think we all agree how fantastic she looks today. You did a great job getting Wendy ready this morning and getting her to the church pretty much on time. 4 minutes. 4 minutes late, but it's okay. I am a sticker for timekeeping, I'm going to be honest. But anyway, no, thank you for all the support you've given myself and Wendy over the years, and you're really good friends, so thank you very much. Right. Okay. Paul, groomsman. There we go. To be fair, that picture does sort of sum me and Paul up quite well, actually. Thank you for helping assisting today, and it's especially thankful because we know Liverpool's playing. Did they win? No, we're going to talk about that. I should probably check that actually. I just assume. When are they playing Barnsley? Oh, we're going to talk about that. So if you know Paul at all, you know he's actually quite an avid snooker player. And whenever we go away on holidays, we always like to have games of pool in a bar, don't we, in the local bars. So I don't know how many games we've played, but it must be 50 plus. I don't know, but in those 50 plus, I've won only one game, haven't I? Yeah, I've got the mic, they can hear you. So I've won one game, but boy does he know about that. But it's okay, when he falls out of me, we do just kiss and make up at the end, don't we? Although Paul's normally a keen recipient of a hug, but I have to do a bit of a stealth one sometimes, don't I? But anyway, thank you, Paul, for everything. Right, moving on. Dan. Dan. Right, again, for those who don't know who Dan is my business partner. I met him about 15 years ago at university. Started a business, started working together for about 11 years, and we've been about friends for about 4 of them, haven't we? First four. It's gone downhill. But anyway, no, thank you for all the tech stuff today. Streaming, setting up the projector, getting this all working, so thank you very much for that. To be fair, me and Dan have been described several times about being a married couple, haven't we? And I can understand why. Sometimes we do get on, sometimes we don't see eye to eye, and then sometimes we just want to kill each other. So, it was very cute, you walking down the aisle earlier today, so thank you very much for that. There are gifts, I believe the gifts have already been handed out, I hope. If not, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's good. So that's all sorted. And finally, there's someone else I'd like to just mention as well, because and Rebecca Taylor at the back. Oh, she's hiding! She's standing at the back. So I'd like to have a big clap for Rebecca, because she's actually made our wedding cake. So she's done a fantastic job. You should really do it as a job. I won't actually say what she told me a minute ago about it, so she said not to. But no, it was beautiful, it was fantastic. I think when we asked her, I think she was a bit like, oh my goodness, what have I got into? So, but you've done a very good job, so thank you very much for that. Right, so the next section, my wife. So, there we go. Yes, there. There we go. Right, so we'll see how this section goes. Firstly, I'd like to say how lucky I am that you agreed to be my wife. I feel very privileged. I am not one for exhibiting huge amounts of emotion, but I'll certainly try my best in this next section. I have got slides. Myself and Wendy, we actually got together on a night out in Stafford, didn't we? We had known each other and been friends for a couple of years before that. I think Wendy had just given up waiting for me to make a move, so just sort it out yourself, didn't you? Yeah. I've never been the greatest one at picking up signals, have I? Because it was only a few years after you actually said that you've been trying to get together before. I'm still arguably quite rubbish at doing that now, so I apologise for that. Since then, we have actually moved in together and started building our lives. It's now nearly been 12 years, and we're here today. And I just wanted to tell you how much you mean to me. Now, again, not being the most expressive person when it comes to emotions, I thought I'd use the romantic medium of a line graph to describe what you mean to me. Oh no, sorry, that was, oh no, I missed out on the slide. That was just pictures of us whilst talking, so sorry about that. We'll come back to that later maybe. Right, we have a line graph. Okay? So obviously we have time along the x-axis and another one along the y. Now, you can see a constant growth and how much I love you. Right, the dip, I'm glad you asked about the dip. You did go through a phase of talking to me during episodes of Doctor Who, so unfortunately it did have a negative impact. But we got over it, we talked about it, and we're stronger, aren't we? So we're doing all right now. So I can only see that trend continuing. So it's good, isn't it? So anyway, I'd like to. I can't. What's the next slide? Oh yeah, we'll go to the next slide. I'd like to thank Wendy for putting up with me all these years, and many more to come. It can't be easy. And on the face of it, we're actually quite, I suppose, different people, aren't we? I mean, I'm from the darkest depths of Devon, and Wendy's from the relatively built up, just over the river from Liverpool. I'm relatively tall, quiet and tidy, and Wendy isn't. But it works, and I really enjoy our time together. I'm really looking forward to our life together going forward. So thank you very much for doing that. I would like to raise a glass to my wife, Wendy. Right. Arguably, it's not even a word, but we'll get to that. We'll move on to the next section, the one that Chris has been looking forward to, my best man. So, what can I say about Chris, my best man? I always find a few of the words are better. But Chris and myself met at secondary school, didn't we? And that was back in 1995, and actually our friendship cemented when we did Young Enterprise. I don't know if anyone did Young Enterprise, but it was where you started your own business, and you did that. And I was the deputy managing director, and you were the company secretary, weren't you? I know what you're thinking. Chris was being company secretary. What's he look like in a dress? Well, very fetching. You're a lucky lady, Sadie. So since then, he's actually gone on to. You've actually had a few different jobs, haven't you? Since but you've actually landed up getting a job at the Royal Navy, haven't you? So that's what you're doing. So he's out there sailing the world, protecting our country. He's a true hero. He's a true hero. That's what he'll tell you. He's actually he's actually based in the relatively landlocked town of Yeovil, being a weatherman, aren't you? So I'll probably think less of that and more Michael Fisher dinging. But anyway, all joking aside, you've been a great friend and you're a hero to me. Especially when you're not calling it for IT support all the flipping time. You need to stop that. Thanks for all you've done for organising me today and the stag do and all those bits and pieces. It's been much appreciated. So without further ado, I will have to hand this mic over. So I'd like to do one last time to thank you all for coming and spending your time to share our special day. And I'll pass you over to my best man, Chris. Thank you very much. What I didn't actually mention in my speech, because Chris has got to set something up on the projector. There was actually a second best man that I'd asked, but he lives in Australia. So for some reason, he thought the travel was going to be a bit of a nightmare, so he couldn't make it. But there is a video from him, so Chris is going to be running this now in a sec, so I should pass you over.
You have to bear with it.
Good day, from down under. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Ollie. Mark, Wendy, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there today. Mark, I just want to say you've met a real Sheila. You English folk that don't know Australian. The best man asked me to tell a few jokes. So I've got a couple of crackers for you today. What cheese do you use to hide a small horse? Mascarpone. What cheese do you use to beckon a bear out of a tree? Camembert. Guys, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there today on your special day, but I just want to know I love you all, and I really hope you have an amazing day. So now, I've got to leave you. I've got to tie my kangaroo down. Enjoy your evening and enjoy the party.
After that character assassination, brace yourself. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
I'd like to start by personally congratulating the newlyweds for tying the knot today in such a lovely fashion. Nothing has been left to chance or overlooked in the run-up to this wedding, as you can clearly see. Mark even prepared a spreadsheet listing all the probabilities of attendance for each guest. He even had Wendy down as 100%, which I thought was a bit presumptuous. On this special day, it's my honour and pleasure to toast the beautiful couple you see before you. First of all, I'd like to ask the bride to relax. You may be expecting that this speech to be full of sexual innuendo, but it isn't. Admittedly, it was at first, but my wife made me whip out all the naughty bits. When us old school friends get together, we often resort back to childish humour. Don't worry, Mark, I haven't gone overboard with the ginger jokes. But for safety reasons, I did get the staff to install low wattage light bulbs so you didn't get sunburned. Mark and I met at school about 20 years ago. Although we were the same age, I look about 5 years older than him, but that's because I'm married. I look forward to Mark catching up in due course. Mark didn't tell me much about the wedding preparations until a couple of months back. That's when I discovered the three things that Mark was looking for in a best man were not the normal character traits most grooms wanted, like honesty, resourcefulness or reliability. No. Mark's criteria were he had to know more embarrassing stories about the best man than vice versa for insurance purposes. Had to be someone who would make Mark look good in photographs. And finally, with revenge on his mind, had to be someone who'd already put him through the stress of being a best man. When Mark brought Wendy home, her mother and father could quickly see that they were perfect for each other. In fact, over the years, they often wondered how long it would take them to realise that themselves and get married. Now I suppose they have their answer. One thing is for certain, Wendy will never leave Mark. I mean, why would you spend years and years and years training a dog just to hand him over to another shepherd? Not when he's such a good boy. Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. Sit. And stay. As a self-confessed geek, Mark is not what you call the outdoorsy type. In fact, Mark thought about coming with us camping last year, but he decided it'd be better if we just video conferenced him once the tent was set up. The Monopoly theme, the wedding invites, takes me back to days of old. Now I have to praise Mark for his outstanding business skills and the empire that he's built with his fellow colleagues. I knew Mark when he first showed signs of that drive and determination at secondary school when we ran a young enterprise company. It was a slow start, selling candles at school fetes. Then we decided to branch out into school discos and enlisted Mark as our vice president. What can I say? It turned out to be a success, and we even made a profit. However, Mark would often turn up to board meetings in this rather unusual attire.
The other one.
All right, that one?
The other one.
That one. There he is. Mark, being the good friend, he's given me loads of advice over the years, mainly ditch that girlfriend, or the highly technical advice, turn it off, wait a few minutes, and back on again. But given that I'm a married man, for once I can offer Mark some advice on something that I genuinely know much more about. The secret to a long and healthy marriage, and that is good, clear communication. Something that took my wife and I some time to perfect. It was most noticeably demonstrated as soon as we returned from our honeymoon, when I said, I like black underwear, and she stopped washing my boxer shorts. Today is about the happy couple, and we could clearly see how happy Mark and Wendy make each other. And seriously, in my searching around to find a pertinent closing for, we're all shadowed by the validity of the following. You don't marry someone because you can live with them. You marry them because you simply cannot live without them.
Mark and Wendy.
I've done it. Oh, you done it?
Ladies and gentlemen, your food and lobby chef.
That's a wrap.
How long?
What was the time? He's got the time up.
Took a picture.
He's 30 minutes, 38 seconds. 30 minutes, 38.
Donna's close to 29.
Well, hang on, we got two tables to compare. We're joined with that lot. Come on, let's see.
I'm on 30, you can read my handwriting.
32 minutes.
Donna's close on 29.
Sorry, man.
We all owe you a quid. When you... We did some betting.